what you know right now, how do you evaluate changes made in the legislative budget?
So I haven't, we're still, I'm not here to talk about the budget as a total, but we're here to talk about the tax relief. We're getting briefed on that right now, so I think it's difficult to kind of be specific.
The budget won't be completed. It's a work in progress until later tonight. Larry Berman will contact you all. We'll have another press availability before the budget, traditional as we've done before.
We can get it done now.
An app?
We can do it now.
It's a work in progress, Ian. Thank you very much. Ed Fitzpatrick.
So with all the federal funds and state funds available, why is this not the moment to address the sales tax?
I'd like to tell you that it's difficult, so people should understand in terms of the money we have right now is all one-time money, Ed. We don't know if we're going to have that money next year. And we would lower the tax this year, and we would have to raise it back next year as a very possible outcome. So we wanted to study that a little bit more long term. In addition to that, I know the sales tax, people think it's high, and I understand that, but you're not really comparing apples to apples or oranges to oranges. We exempt food from our sales tax, we exempt clothes from our sales tax, and in other states where they have a lower sales tax, they have a county tax. We don't have that county tax in Rhode Island. So when you look at that overall and you really start breaking it down and comparing it, we're kind of like in the middle of a pack. So we'll look at that. I share the governor's passion to reduce the sales tax, but it's not really something, at least in the membership felt and the leadership felt, with one-time money. That has to be something when our economy is booming on a nice long-term positive trend. That's the time to lower the sales tax. Well, just one at a time. She's going to give you the microphone.
Why not? Another proposal that had been thrown out and people were calling for was cutting the gas tax, and that would be a tangible thing people should see. Why was that not?
Well, so the reason it's a lot easier said than done. We have a lot of revenue tied to our sales gas tax, including repayment of our bonds. In addition to that, if you waive the sales tax, the gas tax, we don't really know how much that will actually lower the price at the pump. Because you eliminate the tax, we don't know if local distributors, local retailers will raise the tax up. You've seen what they've done in Connecticut, and it's really had very little effect on what people are paying at the pump. We felt that collectively the elimination of the car tax is real, it's tangible, and it goes to Rhode Islanders who have cars registered in Rhode Island. When you lower the gas tax, people who are not from Rhode Island, if there is a benefit, and there's a real question whether you get a real benefit or not, in terms of the price that the consumer pays at the pump, who are the consumers, where are they coming from? This way we took care of Rhode Islanders.
Thank you. In Pawtucket, Mayor Grebbion's already warming up his siren song. Is there additional funds in the budget for the stadium, or is at this point in time the state going to walk away?
I will answer that question tonight. I wanted to focus on the tax stuff. We'll have another press availability, and you're welcome to be there and ask that question then. Thank you.
The Senate President mentioned almost all vehicle owners won't pay the
Yes.
car tax anymore. Who would still have to pay it?
Nothing against my friend Katie Kazarian. I'm looking over to her, East Providence, because East Providence is on a different fiscal year. So we're going to eliminate the car tax for this year and next year, but East Providence, because they have a different fiscal year, there'll be a little bit of a tax for them left. Now, it's up to the mayor and his team. Mayor DeSilva is doing an excellent job there. You'll notice later on tonight how we recognize East Providence and the good work that they're doing, but they have a different fiscal year. So they're the only community that is not on the same fiscal year as all the other 38 cities and towns.
When does their fiscal year start?
Their taxes are like 1 year behind. They basically use their income from the future years into the present year. It's how they book it and how they accrue it. I'm not an accountant, so but almost everybody will. East Providence will be the only community they'll have the last year of it left. Now, the mayor has some of his own opera money, and I'll defer to him, but we wanted to be, when we're treating communities, we want to treat them fairly and equally. And East Providence was just a little bit off. That's why we didn't want to address that issue at this time. It was good.
Oh, I'm sorry. And for everyone else, they're not getting a car tax bill this summer if this proposal passes.
Or ever again, hopefully. Never again.
Two things. One, you mentioned you wanted to target those who are hurting the most. these proposals, if you don't have kids or don't have a car, there are probably some people who won't see much relief. Why not go for something that would have literally gone across the board and gotten relief for everyone?
We think this addresses everyone, especially the elderly. In the circuit breaker, we looked at this. You'll see some other programs in the budget that I think will even out. So we wanted to basically address the people we felt who needed it. And that's why there's an income level of below 100,000. If you make over 100,000, I don't know what the Journal's paying these days, but if you make over 100,000, Patrick, and you have kids, you're not going to get a tax. You're not going to get a tax break for that. But if you file jointly, you may be able to.
And the other thing, when are the checks going out for the child tax credit, and Governor, will your name be on them?
I will defer it to later tonight. I don't believe they're checks. I think it's a tax credit on your income tax, but I don't know. I'll defer tonight. That, like I said, the budget's still in progress. I don't think checks are going out. I think it's much easier, cleaner, and more efficient to just give a tax credit next year. So they'll have that tax credit this year.
Just following up on that tax credit, will that be like a credit, like will they get money back if they're under?
Yeah, yes, it would be to the state income tax. And so, yeah, just like you get a refund. If you're entitled to a refund, you'd be able to apply it. If you owe taxes, you'd get it as a refund if you didn't.
Governor, you said you wanted to use this tax relief to make Rhode Island more competitive, keep people and businesses here, but knowing that other states are, offering relief on the gas tax, are offering child tax credits, what makes Rhode Island's tax relief package different or more competitive than our neighboring states?
Well, I'm looking at being competitive with initially Massachusetts and Connecticut. They have car taxes. Rhode Island will not have a car tax. That's a substantial amount of dollars, depending on what community you live in, as the Senate President said. Relative to just being competitive, I think that it's important to take a look at, right now, I think there's 3 states that are actively doing a gas tax reduction, right? Most of us have realized that, as the Speaker has said, that the person at the pump not necessarily realizing the entire amount of the tax reduction. And also the state of Rhode Island, as the Speaker said, would be sharing that tax relief outside the border of the state, of people who are on the borders of the state that use that fill up that tank. So that is not that's not a widespread, it sounds good, but as I've been tracking gasoline prices in Massachusetts and Connecticut for the last several months every day, and right now the gap between us and Massachusetts, I think on average we're a couple cents lower based on, I haven't looked at it today, and in Connecticut it should be a full 10 cents lower based on what they reduced it, and it's about 3 or 4 cents. So as the Speaker said, the consumer is not getting the benefit of the entire reduction of that gas tax. But I would say, as I said in my remarks, we're going to continue to take a look at the sales tax. I think the Speaker is right. These things don't just happen just because you want them to happen. You actually have to, you actually have to work at it and put the ideas forward, and over time they become a reality. I intend to make that a reality in terms of my next budget. And as far as the utility rates, I would say that we still got maybe a little work to do there, because we haven't seen what the increases are going to be yet as of October 1st. I think when we see that there are increases, we may want to revisit in the early part of the next session, and we'll, if in fact what I am anticipating is going to happen, we will kind of revisit and ask the General Assembly to take a look at some relief on our utility bills.
We've got one last one right here.
Is the $100,000 cap on the child credit per capita?
It's per individual, and if you file jointly, it's, I believe, $190,000 if you file jointly. I think that Providence Business had one more question. And they'll call it Providence Business News. No? All right.
The Blossom Valley area, and they need a stadium in Pawtucket. Are you going to risk your re-election not supporting Dan Grivian, getting the money for the stadium?
We're going to do the right thing by the taxpayers, and I believe that we are in conversation. I know we are, because I had conversations with the developer yesterday. I think we're heading in a direction that I believe I'll be able to propose something that's both good for the taxpayer and good for make sure that project continues as it's planned.
I'll leave you one last point, just a historical note for some of the reporters who've been here. 6 years ago, when we started the elimination of the car tax, we had the highest car tax in the country. Today, this budget ultimately passes in the next couple of weeks and the governor signs it, which I hopefully will, we will eliminate the car tax altogether. Thank you.